You ever get super excited to go fishing and then you pull up to the boat ramp or get to your favorite shore fishing spot and there's just people all over? It can make things tough. Fishing pressure is extremely difficult on us as anglers, especially on your smaller bodies of water. So this video here is really kind of about our approach right up here between the ears. I love the fact that there's more bass anglers now than really ever before in the history of our sport. But on the weekends especially, like I said, it can be challenging when you go to the boat ramp and every single trailer parking area is full. You know it's going to be a tough day on the water. Well, here's the analogy that I like to use. Your living room in your house, I want you to think about it just a second. When you come home from work or you walk through there, you notice right away when something is different. And that something different can be obviously sight. It could be something that sounds different or something that smells different. We pick up on it right away. Well, when we're out there on the water, we are in the living room of those bass, and they are probably better at noticing these things than we are because they rely so heavily on their natural instincts. We take it for granted as anglers. We get out there and we're banging around doing all this type of stuff, and we forget just how acute their senses are. And here's the thing that we need to consider. Okay, we may still catch some fish, but if there's, let's say, a little school of bass and 10 of them there, and all of a sudden they are aware of everything going around, maybe 9 of them, they just don't want to bite, and maybe there's one that's going to bite. And often it's the smallest, most inexperienced bass that bites. So how do we turn that around? We need to think about approaching our day on these really heavily pressured outings differently. The first thing that I'm going to do is fish slightly deeper. And we have talked about this a lot. Back off that shoreline, 1 cast, 2 casts, or like a video we talked about here just a few weeks ago, get up on the bank and cast the other way and bring that lure from deeper water to shallow water, just like you would if you were shore fishing. That is something not everybody is going to be doing. Number 2 is really downsize our lures. On those heavily pressured days, just going smaller and smaller and smaller can just coax bites that we wouldn't normally get, because bass are so good about what looks natural. Does that look like something in this body of water that they would normally eat? My favorite by far and away is the Baby Z2, both on a Demiki rig and a drop shot. When it is mega tough, this is a bait I rely on all the time. Number 3 is hit the difficult spots. When we're going down the shoreline and we see docks and brush piles, everybody hits the edges. Take a second and put that lure in a place that you don't think anybody else is going to put it, and the dividends can be big. The next one, number 4, is irritate those bass. Make repeated casts over and over and over and over and over. If you're in an area that, like, man, how is there not a fish there? A lot of times we'll make 1 cast, move on. Make 5, 6, 7, 8 casts into what you think is a really high percentage location. And if there's one down there, there's a really good chance you're going to irritate it to the point where it's just going to react to that lure and eat it. And when it's tough, when fishing pressure is tough, the reaction bite is most often the type of bite that we get. And the next one is don't let the fish think about it. And you may be saying, Steve, what are you talking about? Don't let them think about it. I'm saying go off of that reaction bite. This is where you're burning baits, okay? Burning those square bills. You know me, love the jerk bait. That slashing action does not let them think about it. And then one that you don't see just a ton of people doing is upscale or go to heavier weights. Let those soft plastics, those Texas rigs, those jigs just boom, just flash right by them. When they flash by the fish, they don't get that opportunity to just, oh, no, it doesn't look right. They have to react to it. So heavier weights is something that is often key to triggering those strikes on very heavily pressured days, especially if you've got some clarity to the water. As a matter of fact, I am going to be doing a video just specifically on this idea of not letting those fish think and just react. That will be out hopefully here shortly. But hey, if you would like to watch a video that talks about depth and where do we locate the bass, you know, as they get deeper, how do we find them, go ahead and check this one out right here. And make sure to go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.